Your World of Tanks, along with 1.9.1, is the release of the new A46 UK Tier 6 light tank. This is going to be a new premium tank that's coming out on the British line. I don't know if it's going to be a gift or it's going to be for sale or you're going to have some kind of reward missions. If you are here for the first time, consider subscribing and giving this video a like. This is the best way you can help support my channel. Also remember, leave a comment below for your suggestions, what you think about this tank, what you think about the state of this game, wargaming. Do read these comments. They scour the internet and look for videos and read comments. They want to know what's going on with the state of their game, and they look to improve their game all the time. Now, with that being said, 1.9.1 with that release is this new tank. One of the releases anyway, along with the Polish tank, is also this A46. Now, if you remember, about 3 years ago, light tank apocalypse happened on World of Tanks game, and with that decimated most of the light tanks on the tech tree, but they couldn't do anything to nerf or balance the premium light tanks because people paid money for them, right? So they didn't want to ruin ruin their bank balance in terms of being forced to give refunds and stuff like that. So they left all the premium tanks basically untouched, which means after 3 years, undoubtedly the Type 64 is the ultimate champion here in the Tier 6 in the Tier 6 realm anyway. Out of all the Tier 6 tanks, the Type 64 benefited the most in the light tank apocalypse, and so we are going to compare the A46 with the Type 64. Now, of course, the A46 has recently been nerfed in the super test server, so we are looking at the final stats, or possibly the final stats of the A46. We are talking about 60 kilometers an hour forward speed and 20 reverse speed, significantly slower than the Type 64. Also, you only get 580 hit points, which is like 70 hit points less than the Type 64. Why? I don't know. Because initially they made the A46 somewhat similar in terms of performance with the Type 64, but now that it's been nerfed, it is significantly worse. So we're going to go through that and we're going to talk about it. Reload time, it was slated to be 3.164 seconds, just like the Type 64, but they've nerfed it to 4.03 seconds, which means rate of fire has also decreased to 14.9 instead of the 18.9. Average damage has also decreased from 1990 to 1565 DPM per shell. I mean, for the HE shells also decreased to 2235 instead of the 2845 before it was nerfed. Aim time also nerfed, 1.92 seconds. It was slated to be at the 1.82 seconds. It was supposed to be better than the Type 64, but now it is 1.92 seconds. Of course, Type 64 2.01 seconds. A little bit slower, but it does 10 more damage than an A46, 115 damage. A46 only does 105 damage, so I don't know why they did that, but we're also looking at 9 degrees gun depression. In the Type 64, you are getting 10 degrees gun depression. So A46, the new British light tank, I don't know why they decided to nerf it. Didn't seem like it required any kind of nerf from the time they introduced it. Also, the things that has been nerfed are the soft stats, which is basically the dispersion, the moving dispersions, or the shooting the gun dispersions after firing, which has been nerfed to 3.5. Before nerf it was 2.3. During turret rotation as well it was 0.05. Now it is nerfed to 0.1. While the hull is traversing, it was 0.11. Now it has been nerfed to 0.15. So we're talking an overall nerf in terms of dispersions, moving dispersions. It's just not overall very good in my opinion. Like I said, right now the king of the light tanks in tier 6s is the Type 64. Ever since the light tank apocalypse 3 years ago, all the competitive tanks have been basically nerfed into the ground. Tanks like the T37, the VK28, the 5916. The only playable ones that I see right now is the AMX-12T, which is still kind of competitive. It's still kind of fun to play in the tech tree, of course. But other than that, the T37, 5916, the VKs, they have been nerfed into the ground. I don't see a lot of people being excited to play them anymore. You don't see any of the good players wanting to play those tanks often, and maybe that was Wargaming's intention when they decided to nerf all the light tanks. They wanted to get all the good players to stop playing those light tanks, because when a good player plays a light tank, that light tank becomes extra good, and maybe they were overperforming in those light tanks. So I don't know, after 3 years of data, whether they've collected the data and they see that everything is fine and dandy right now. I don't know. Personally, I still find those tanks interesting to play, but they're not as competitive anymore, and I generally stay away from them. If I do want to play a tier 6 light tank, you automatically default to the Type 64. In fact, if you play strongholds as a place where you grind a lot of your credits, the staple tanks are always the Cromwells, the T34-85M, and if you're playing a light tank, you're always going to play the Type 64. Once in a while you can see a T50-2, one of those reward tanks, but 90% of the time you're going to see people rocking the Type 64 just because of the stats and how it performs overall, not just in strongholds but in randoms as well. If you want to be stat padding, racking up a lot of damage, making your stats look good, the Type 64 is one of the go-to tanks that people revert to almost automatically. Now, the last thing I want to mention about these stats that you can see right before you is the camouflage value. Look carefully at the camouflage value of the A46. You are not mistaken, you are looking at 8.68 camouflage value on this tank. What does 8.68 means? It means it sucks. It means it sucks ballsack. 8.68 is like half the camo of a Type 64. So good luck trying to make people like this tank. If it continues to be this way, I don't think a lot of people are going to buy it. If you are going to give this tank away, good luck people playing it, because I don't think it is that attractive. But leave a comment below. Let Wargaming know what you think about this tank, and what you think about the stats and the camouflage value for that matter. Thanks once again. Please remember to give this video a like if you enjoyed the content, and let me thank you in advance, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.